What happens when a struggling electric car company tries to rise from the ashes and ends up literally catching fire inside its own headquarters? Yeah, that's not a metaphor. That's Faraday Future. And this is the story of how their prototype went up in flames, taking a piece of their dream office with it. Let's rewind for a second. Faraday Future, the California-based EV startup that promised to redefine electric luxury, has been fighting an uphill battle since day one. Their flagship model, the FF91, was supposed to be the Tesla killer, the Lucid Air's worst nightmare. But years later, after billions in investment and endless hype, the company has delivered just 16 cars. 16. And yet, somehow, the FF91 still managed to make headlines, thanks to a shocking incident that nobody saw coming. On the early morning of September 28, 2025, at around 4:37 a.m., something sparked inside Faraday Future's Los Angeles headquarters. Within minutes, smoke filled the air, alarms blared, and one of the company's earliest prototypes, the FF91 Beta B40, was engulfed in flames. Firefighters rushed in, battling the blaze for nearly 40 minutes before finally getting it under control. No one was hurt, thank goodness, but one of the most ironic moments in Faraday's chaotic history had just unfolded. According to early reports, the fire started inside the prototype itself, possibly from an electrical short in the 12-volt system, or even from the wiring in the showroom that was feeding it power. And while part of the building's wall took damage, somehow the windows survived, and operations at HQ went on almost like nothing happened. Still, a minor explosion was reported, which prompted a full safety inspection, because when your office blows up at 4 a.m., you don't just sweep it under the rug. Now, here's the twist. The battery pack inside the FF91 didn't cause the fire. That's right, the same pack made of 18650 type cylindrical cells, which had been in service for almost 9 years, stayed completely intact. No meltdown, no runaway, no fireworks. The real damage was isolated to the upper structure. The subframe, wheels, and even part of the cabin floor were still in decent shape afterward. So, what does Faraday Future have to say about all this? They quickly jumped on social media, making sure the world knew this was just an old beta prototype, not a production car. In their words, this has no connection to current FF91 vehicles. And to be fair, they're right. Production models use different materials, newer systems, and updated safety tech. But for a company that's been trying to convince the world it's alive and well, this was the last kind of PR disaster they needed. Think about it. Faraday Future has been fighting bad press for years. Financial troubles, production delays, leadership shakeups, lawsuits, and now, literal fire. It's like the universe is testing how much drama one EV startup can handle before it collapses. Still, in the middle of the chaos, there's a weird kind of resilience. Faraday Future says they're taking this incident seriously. They're working with authorities, reviewing safety procedures, and reinforcing fire prevention systems across their facilities. In a way, it's a reminder that even when your prototype burns down your office, you can still rebuild, if you've got the will and maybe a few $1 million left in the bank. Let's not forget, the FF91 was once billed as the future of electric performance. A luxurious spaceship on wheels with a wild design, mind-blowing tech, and a price tag north of $300,000. It had 1,050 horsepower, rear-wheel steering, and acceleration that rivaled supercars. On paper, it was incredible, but reality hit hard. Delays, funding issues, and now a flaming prototype that turned their office into an early morning inferno. So, what's next for Faraday Future? Will they rise again, rebuild their image, and finally deliver the electric masterpiece they've been promising for nearly a decade? Or will this latest fire mark the final spark before the lights go out for good? Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, no EV startup has had a journey this wild, this dramatic, and this explosive. So, what do you think? Is Faraday Future still worth believing in, or has their dream burned out for good?